Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the top 5 priorities Erik Ten Hag needs to get right in order to beat Pep Guardiola in the Manchester derby on Sunday. I'm sure there's going to be a mix of opinions out there, Red, so you know the score by now. Get involved in the chat and we'll discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. Now, priority 1, in no particular order, style of play, tactics, formation. Take it away.
Well, formation has to get 4 at the back, 3 midfielders, 3 up front. And style of play and the tactics are most important here with that formation. He has to have the 2 wingers coming back, helping out the 2 midfield players, because one player is going to have to sit in front of that back 4. That's how I see it. The energy, everything, them 2 wingers are most important as far as I'm concerned. They have to work back, and I think they have to tuck in along with the 2 midfield players. And I think the style and the tactics will, lots of the game will be Højlund up front, mainly on his own, grafting. I think that's how it will work, with the 2 wingers joining as quickly as possible. But that is the style I see what's going to happen. But whether it's Amrabat or Casemiro as the holding midfield player, he has to stay there and work along the line. So that formation has to be tight, has to work together, and has to stay together. I cannot see 3 strikers staying up front, the 2 wingers staying up front. I think it's most important for the tactics, the style, that they tuck in and they help out that midfield. I think that's the main priority. We have to take the game to City, so that they can't just sit there. They have to be ready to spring. Counter-attacking football, I think, with the formation, that will suit Manchester United against this dynamic Manchester City side.
Yeah, if you look at the game they played against Brighton, you know, near enough like 3 at the back with 2 in the midfield like John Stones, Rodri. It's going to be difficult to compete against them in terms of gaining control of the ball and keeping possession. So I totally agree. The 2 wide players, whoever he chooses, need to be able to tuck in and be that extra man, body in midfield, you know, to get in and around their midfielders. But Manchester United, the biggest threat are on the counter-attack.
Yes.
So do you think it'll be a case of, you know, when City have got the ball in their own half, maybe let them have the ball on the halfway line as well, and then when they do come deeper into our half, get the ball back and try and spring counter-attacks?
I think with the style, along with the formation, it has to be solid, and them 2 wingers have to come back. Let them have the ball. That's how I see that formation. We'll set up, we'll let them have the ball, and we'll just like try and crowd them out in that midfield. So it's important that they stick to it for 90 minutes. So important. They will let them have the ball. Let them have the ball. I've seen teams use the formation where they just let them have the ball, and then when they come over, they crowd them out and they force their attack, their wingers, to bring the ball in, and that's where the midfield will attack them, and the 2 wingers will be there to help out. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, we have seen in the past where Manchester United have sat deep against Manchester City and other teams alike and sprung counter-attacks. We've got a lot of joy out of that, and you know, it's up for debate. Should Manchester United go toe-to-toe, so to speak, with Manchester City and press them high up the pitch? Because if you don't go and win that press, you are going to then leave gaps in midfield behind you for City to ping it about and then create chances going forward.
No, that's right. But what it is, Manchester United have to play the counter-attacking football. The mentality, the setup, everything, that's how it has to work. I don't think you can expect Manchester United to set up any formation against Manchester City to go out and attack. Let them have the ball, let them ping it around at the back, let them have the freedom of their half. United have got the speed, they've got the ability to play on counter-attack. So the formation, the style and the tactics should all be built around that. That's how I see it. And Ten Hag has to get it right, and he has to get the players, the right players, to do the job.
Yeah. Priority number 2, in no particular order, the spine of the team needs to be spot on. Yeah. And I'm going to start with the centre-half partnership. There's been a lot of debate out there who it should be starting this game, but who do you think it should be?
I think the partnership has to be Varane and has to be Maguire. Maguire's got the confidence. Varane, you know, a little bit tricky, but I think he's solid. I think he'll know what to do against City. He'll sit there, he'll battle away, he'll lead the line. Maguire should have the confidence, especially after the other night against Copenhagen. He came back, Sheffield United, had a good game, got my man of the match. So that, to me, is the spine. Lindelof, people will have a shout about Lindelof, but I think at the end of the day, Lindelof will be substitute. But them two, Maguire and Varane, to me, yeah, I think that's the combination. To be honest with you, I can't see anything else at the moment.
Some people might out there say, well, we need Victor Lindelof in there with Varane to give us that pace, because Maguire maybe gets turned too easily. And, you know, when he's coming up against Haaland, runners from midfield, you are going to need that pace in your back four to do ball recoveries as well.
Yeah, when you talk about pace, I think when you look at the formation, the style and the tactics, I think what it is, we don't need pace at the back, because we'll be sat there trying to play the ball out, trying to sit there and hold tight that back four. I think that's what their job is. Every now and again, I think the fullbacks will spring, but the fullbacks will be sat there. The central defenders, Maguire and Varane, will be sat there marking and keeping it tight. I can't see Maguire going over the halfway line, playing expansive football. I think this is more of a containing game. So really, the pace with the two central defenders isn't or shouldn't be an issue in this game.
Because you expect us maybe to sit back a little deeper than what we normally do,
yes.
Try and limit the space, keep it compact, so they can't play in between the lines of the midfield and the defenders.
That's how I see it. So I think them two will be ideal for it, really. Yes, there is an issue with Maguire. We know that with him turning and all that, but that's only when Maguire leaves the back four and goes forward to the halfway line to make a tackle. I think you'll see less of that. And less of a need for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the thing with Maguire, with me, I think you've got to give him praise on his recent performances. Some people out there may look at the opposition we've played, but for me, Maguire's one of them players who grows into a game. You know, you don't see him looking for them like 30-yard passes, switching the play from left to right until like after the 30-minute mark. And when you're coming up against opposition like Manchester City, you've got to be on it with confidence and being brave from the minute go. So can Maguire adapt to that and, you know, use his confidence on recent games to be on the game straight away? Well,
the confidence he's gained over the recent games should stand him in good stead, to be honest with you. He'll sit there, he'll work along with Varane and the two full-backs, and he will be determined to get the right passing and do it quickly. He will be solid, I think. Will he be able to stand up to the test? Well, we'll find out on Sunday, but he should have the confidence and understanding now of playing with Varane. So really, sit there, hold the ball, get it away from that back four quickly and get the right passing and don't go missing. And I think them two central defenders will do that. I have no real worries about it because they won't be playing an expansive game going forward. That's why I'm confident that the back four will work together, sit there and sit tight, and that's the job they have to do.
Yeah, I always say the spine of the team's very important, but you can't forget it's a back four. You know, your right back and your left back have to be spot on as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Reguilon gets the nod here just with him giving that balance really on the left-hand side, left footer as well, more adaptable as well, going up and down that left wing than, let's say, Lindelof?
Yeah, Reguilon has to play. He had a run out. He obviously burnt himself out after coming back from illness and the injury. But he will be there. He knows what to do. I don't think you'll see him really going too often down that line, overlapping the winger, whether it's Rashford or Garnacho. I think he'll be in there playing and looking for the ball in midfield. I think it'll be the midfield where the ball will go to, and it's for them to just spring the attack as quickly as possible. So Reguilon, for me, has to play there, but I think he'll play more of a containing game, looking to pass the ball sideways, a little bit forward and build on it. And then hopefully he'll use that possession, what he's got, to spring the attack.
Yeah, before we're going into the priority three and the midfield options and who he should select, Andre Onana, you would have thought would have gained a lot of confidence from his performance against Sheffield United and that penalty save against Copenhagen.
Yeah, listen, he's a good goalkeeper, and he came good the other night with his performance. I thought he played well at Sheffield United. Yes, he didn't do that much, but his confidence was there. And when you talk about confidence, you talk about confidence with Maguire. The same thing applies there. So both of them two players have gained confidence, both maligned, but with Onana, I think this game's set up for Onana to play well, play his football, and he will play football, and he will play them passes out, and he will give it the midfield, and they've got to do the job. That's how Onana does play.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to and watching the bond they had, Onana and Maguire, in the post-match interviews
it was
after
good.
the Copenhagen game, and the rest of the players as well who come rushing over to congratulate Onana on that save. And I'd just like to go into the chat. Harry Whiteman, cheers for your super chat, mate. Going on to priority 3. The selection in that midfield has to be bang on, and I'm sure there's a lot of opinions out there who you feel should start in the midfield, so get them in the chat. But yours first of all.
I think Amrabat should be playing in front of the back four. I think he's got the legs throughout the game. Some people have said he's not had the greatest of games and that, but then you look at where he's been playing in that. So at the end of the day, to me, it'll be Amrabat. Yes, Casemiro on the bench might be the right, might be the wrong thing, but only time will tell on that. But it's an opinion. I think he's got the legs. I think he's got the work rate to work right across, and I think he's got the discipline as well. That's what I like about him. The other two midfield players, obviously Bruno, captain, he's there. The other midfield player, I mean, you could pick. It's very hard for me to pick, and I think I'm looking at legs. I was looking at Eriksen. But I don't think the legs are there for him. I think we need to start with someone with legs. And to be honest with you, I would put Hannibal in there, possibly, because of the legs and the work rate. I think we need something different, a little bit of a spark. You always have to change it up. And maybe Hannibal might be that person what comes on there. I think we have to look at it differently. I think we have to have something what changes and also throws them off their game. And I think that could be a massive change. Whether he does it or not, I don't know. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. He has to change something up from recent performances, because we'd need to dominate or try to large parts of this game coming up against Manchester City. But for me, in that midfield area, I think you've got to go with Amrabat and Casemiro to try and give you that much needed defensive cover in there.
Yeah.
They're both very adept to being in defensive situations, working with the centre back, knowing when to cover. And also with Casemiro, you know, he doesn't get highlighted enough in going forward. He can create attacks and create scoring opportunities and grab a goal himself. So for me, them two have got to start. And then it's just a case of, you know, do you put Bruno central? Do you put him on the right-hand side and maybe accommodate Mason Mount coming in? For me, Bruno starts central, and I'd put Mason Mount on the right-hand side. Anthony, for me, has to sit this one out. I know he's been unavailable at the start of the season through whatever reasons, but for me, the 2 games that he has started, he's not done anything or done as much as I'd expect. You know, going forward, yeah, his work rate going back has been good. It's always good from Anthony. But I think for me, Mason Mount, if he was on that right-hand side, he could give us that extra cover and that extra body in midfield when City have got the ball to try and defend.
Based on the formation, if he does drop Anthony, then you have to look at Casemiro coming into the side without a shadow of a doubt. So changing the midfield is based on him not playing.
You mean Mason Mount coming in, do you mean?
Mason Mount or Casemiro coming in for Anthony playing on the right. So to me, it could work, but it's difficult to assess who's coming in, because the right-hand side has been a problem when midfield players have been out there. So that's why I think the formation will stay with the 2 wingers and the centre forward.
Yeah, I was just trying to get it in my head there when you said Casemiro on the right. So you mean Casemiro at the base, but either Bruno or Mason Mount on the right-hand side.
That's
getting
right,
you there
yeah.
now. Yeah, I'm just getting a little bit foggy in my brain.
Because Bruno is the man what would move out on the right. That's how Ten Hag's done it. If he didn't play Anthony on the wing.
Yeah, for me, Mason Mount on the right, Bruno middle, Amrabat, Casemiro at the centre.
Lots of options.
Lots of options there. And I'm sure a lot of yous out there have got different opinions, so get them in the chat. Now, we are going to go on to Bruno as well later on in the video, but priority number 4. Actually, we'll go on to Bruno now.
Yeah.
No particular order.
Yeah.
The captain in any derby, any big game, is vital because he has to set the standards. And what do you feel about Bruno in recent weeks and going into this game?
Bruno has to play in that middle without a doubt. He has to take the instructions and get the team playing and make sure they stick to it. Yeah. We know Bruno talks to players, sometimes a bit too much in my opinion, but Bruno knows what he's doing. He has to stay in that middle. He will be the linchpin of what goes on. He will be the man what sets up the attacks, the quick ball through. He will be the player what players at the back will be looking for. He has to set the standard. He also has to turn around and make sure that the players keep to the job and keep working. So important for Bruno in this game. I have felt a bit sorry for him at times in games because he's been played out of position and it's not looked good. But when he gets in that position where his natural position is behind them forwards, right down the middle, I think he has an excellent game. He's one of the best at it. So to me, it's right down the middle. Bruno, just take everything out on that pitch and give it all. But he will make sure that everyone around him is doing their job.
With Bruno as well, and we're highlighting the captaincy here, he needs to be strong. He needs to organise the team on the field, be Ten Hag's general from the sidelines on the pitch. And like you said before, you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't like him moaning as they see it, but surely that's what a captain's got to do. He's got to give his team on the field instructions to the instructions Erik Ten Hag's give him on the pitch.
But he's better at giving the instructions when he's in the position what's favourable.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the favourable position, right down that middle. He's good at it there. I like him when he's giving out his instructions because he's the heartbeat of the game. Is there helping out in the defence, he's helping out in the attack. So all these instructions, and he's going on with himself as people say it. Yeah, when he's down that middle, when he's giving it out, he's looking to the left, he's looking to the right, he's encouraging people, he's getting people to work. It's when he's outside on the right wing, right, when he's giving instructions, it's ineffective. So for him to do his job and do it properly and for it to work, he has to give it in the middle.
Yeah, I totally agree. Look at the second half in the recent game against Copenhagen, how much more he got involved, just staying up there, being more disciplined in that position in the centre and being a part of the counter-attacks, linking things up, whereas in the first half in other games, when he's played out of position on the right-hand side, let's say, he starts to go wandering. Starts to go and try and do everyone else's job at left-back position, holding midfielder, etc. And he needs to be disciplined in this game for me. And hopefully Ten Hag does pick him in his rightful position.
But one of the things, when you have seen United's formation this year, especially this year, is when players aren't played in their right position, they lose discipline. It's a natural thing for any player to do, to lose their discipline, whether they move to left back, whether they move to left wing, right midfield, or anything like that. No player can keep 90 minutes of discipline. So for Bruno, he has been criticised, but the criticism only comes when he's out of position. So it's not down to Bruno, this. It's down to the manager, and the manager has to get it right with Bruno for this game. It is massive.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we need to go back onto priority 3, because I don't think it'd be fair for us not to mention Scott McTominay in the midfield selections that we've done. Now, do you think he deserves a start for this game, considering the goals he scored recently?
I like Scott McTominay, yes, and he will get games, but not in this game. To me, he's too slow. He's turning. He's getting back. I think the game will pass him by. I think City's combination of how they pass and move and all that, we'll just see McTominay just staring at him. They'll just fly past him. That's how I've seen McTominay play. When there has been speed there, he's not really been able to get it. He has done well. There's no two ways about that. But against City, I think they're too fast for him. And that's Scott McTominay's problem. Good squad player, but not for this game.
Yeah, I think he's been used better as more of a box-to-box midfielder trying to get into the box. Whereas for me, if you're coming up against the top teams and he's receiving the ball from the back four, let's say, I think it puts him in a bit of a sticky situation in how he turns and passes the ball out and creating attacks, whereas the likes of Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, I think they're perfect for that kind of role. But yeah, going on to priority 5, the last one, it's got to be Erik Ten Hag versus Pep Guardiola. How does Erik Ten Hag get these players believing that they can go and get the 3 points on Sunday?
Erik Ten Hag has to be proactive, and I've said it before. He's slow to react sometimes, and it's one of the bit of a bugbear I carry. He has to show action And the action is he has to react to things he's seeing and not be afraid. He has to act before Pep Guardiola acts.
So is the man management key of the players and also his tactical decisions as well throughout the game?
Yeah, throughout the game, he has to be out there. He has to see what's going wrong and he has to deal with it straight away. To me, sometimes Erik ten Hag is slow to react with his substitutions. He should not be afraid, right, to act. If someone needs bringing off, I don't care, me. If someone needs bringing off after half an hour, 20 minutes, because the formation and the tactics aren't working, he has to do it and not be afraid. Pep Guardiola's done it. Other big managers have done it. And if we go behind, he has to act. He has to act. He can't just sit there and let it carry on and on and on, because the formation and the way the tactics will be set up will not be set up to attack. It will be for counter-attack. And if we are behind, then he has to react to it. And he has to show Pep Guardiola, right, who's boss. But it will be a hard thing to do. Pep's a master at tactics, but Erik ten Hag now has to stand up. We can't just sit there like lame ducks and let them keep coming at us. We have to be proactive on and off the pitch. And Ten Hag and Bruno are the two main characters for action.
Yeah, we definitely have to be proactive in terms of defending, keeping it tight, compact, so they can't play through the lines in the midfield and the defence. But going forward, we have seen in recent weeks, United are creating chances.
Yes.
Good goal-scoring opportunities, one-on-ones with the keeper, Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund and other players alike. So, that needs to be... it needs to be something that we need to capitalise on when we come up against City, because I can't see us getting too many opportunities, goal-scoring opportunities anyway.
No, I think Erik ten Hag knows that. He knows we're not putting the ball away, and he knows we won't get lots of chances. So he has to instill in this team, don't panic when you get the chance. Just take it and get it on target. Don't waste your shots by panicking and just going for it. It's important. I don't think we'll get many chances. Erik ten Hag will think that as well. We're playing a really, really good side who limit teams to chances. And when we get chances, we're not putting them away. So it's important that the players, it's instilled in them by Erik ten Hag, get the game plan, get it together. And when that chance comes, be calm. That's all what has to be instilled, because at times we've seen panic up front where they've just misfired over the bar way wide, or it's just not got the shot in as it should have done.
Yeah. We have seen from Højlund the strength, the power, the pace and the composure to finish at times. You look at the goals against Galatasaray, it's definitely there. Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side needs a goal, definitely needs a goal. So how do you think he's going to be react and feeling going into this game?
I don't know whether he'll need a goal in this game. I think Højlund is the man for the goal. But what Rashford has to do, he has to get the ball and move it quickly to Højlund. He has to work back. That's the formation. That's what Erik ten Hag will expect. He'll want him to work back, track back, go forward and go at pace. He is key in the counter-attacking football. He can't be seen to be watching the game. He has to be involved in the attack and he has to be involved in the defence. But for Højlund, that's the man for me. I think Højlund's strength is actually getting the ball from the halfway line and running at him, where the ball is put through, put over the top, and his strength, that's how it will work. But for me, I don't think Rashford, it's so important for Rashford himself to score. It's so important for Rashford to be quick with the pass, quick with the running and quick with the defending.
So not necessarily to get on the score sheet, but again, that word, proactive in the game.
Yes.
Have moments in the game where you're actually helping your team in attack and defence as well. Yeah,
well, that's what it's all about. It's all about legs, energy, and that's why I go back to before about when I picked the midfield. Energy, the legs. Hannibal's got the legs for 90 minutes. And I think, I'm not saying he'll stay on for 90 minutes if he's there. If it's the formation, what I set out, it's legs, it's energy. Everyone has to show it. And this is where I go with Erik ten Hag now, battling against Pep Guardiola, being proactive. If players are out there, If players are out there and not doing the instructions, Ten Hag has to deal with it. If they're not doing it, they get off, because he has to have the players what are on the bench be prepared at any moment to come on. And that's, if players aren't doing the job, I don't care about the status. This is Manchester City we're playing. Pep Guardiola knows what to do. He would not hesitate. So why should Erik Ten Hag hesitate when people aren't doing the job? Off they come.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, you know, elite managers, they always need to have a picture going forward in the brain in case anything does go wrong. So they've got a plan B, plan C to make them changes like that. So hopefully in this game, you know, the players who do start, they put everything into it defensively and in attack, so it doesn't have to change anything too quickly. But I'd like to think Erik Ten Hag in the second half has got a plan, a vision of what players to bring off and bring on at certain times to affect the game as well.
Yeah, I think what it is, I think the substitutions will be key. If people aren't doing the job, he has to stand up, Erik Ten Hag, and let everyone know, I'm the boss, you're not doing it, come off. And them substitutes, they have to be ready. I think you might see a different, I think you'll have to see a different Erik Ten Hag here. I think you'll have to see a manager what's proactive and not afraid. Yes, there's speculation all round about Erik Ten Hag, his tactics, and he's not getting things right. He has to show here and stand up to whatever comes from City, and he has to be ready and quick with it. Don't be afraid. And that message has to go from Erik Ten Hag to the players as well. Don't be afraid. The formation, the style, the tactics, the way he wants the football played, passing from the back to the midfield, they have to be ready to beat City's press.
Yeah,
they have to be confident, and Erik Ten Hag has to instill that right through the team.
Yeah, of course it does, before the game as well, and let the players know, be brave and take risks on the ball. We don't mind players taking risks in the attacking third, you know, trying to do something to create it, but it's then how you respond to that,
yes,
and getting the ball back as well. So hopefully the players are bang up for it. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm proper looking forward to it on Sunday, and I hope you are as well. But have you got any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, it's the response. You know, you just mentioned response there. Erik Ten Hag has to act. We'll be watching. Everyone will be watching. When a player loses the ball, to me, that's going to be the most vital time throughout the game. Yeah. When a player loses the ball, what the response is from that player. Yeah. I want the player to respond by chasing and tackling back and not stood there watching. Yeah. And Erik Ten Hag has to be quick on that, and has to be quick to tell the player, hey, why you stood there? Yeah. I've seen that too many times from players, and you can't afford it. The tactics says you can't afford to stand there and watch City take a ball off you and run away with it. No, there's no time in this game.
You won't be given many opportunities to do that, because they will punish us. Manchester City, they're a top team, and like I say, if any of the players aren't putting it in, I'm sure as fans, me and you and everyone out there will be getting on the players' back, because the levels will need to step up. But I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today for today's video. Just thought we'd take a bit of an overview, a chat on the top 5 priorities we feel Erik Ten Hag needs to get right for that Manchester derby on Sunday. Just like to say a pleasure as well for everyone getting involved in the chat. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it. I will be back tomorrow morning, roughly about 8 or 9 a.m, with Webby. It'll be an early start, and we'll take a look at our match preview ahead of that Manchester derby. So hopefully we can see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.